For over 500 years, we were told the Amazon was a pristine, untouched wilderness, inhabited only by scattered tribes living in harmony with nature. That narrative wasn't just wrong, it was a lie, a deliberate one. Today, archaeologists are uncovering massive, interconnected civilizations in the heart of the rainforest. Entire cities with road systems, pyramids, advanced agriculture, and engineered soil. These weren't isolated villages. They were urban centers. And their sudden disappearance, followed by centuries of silence, raises a darker question. Why were these cities hidden, and who benefited from burying the truth? Let's begin in the Upper Xingu region of Brazil, where Dr. Michael Heckenberger's work with the Kwikuro tribe unearthed one of the most astonishing finds in Amazonian archaeology. What he discovered, using a combination of ground surveys and aerial mapping, was a network of at least 20 settlements, each linked by straight, well-planned roads and protected by moats and wooden palisades. These cities were geometrically laid out. Roads intersected at right angles, and central plazas were aligned to solar events. Some towns were estimated to have housed 10,000 to 15,000 people, and the entire system may have supported 100,000 or more. The kicker? These sites weren't new. The Kwikuro knew about them all along. Their oral history described a great civilization that was wiped out. Yet, for centuries, academics dismissed these stories as myth. Why? Because they didn't fit the colonial narrative that indigenous people were primitive. The Catholic Church and colonial powers had everything to gain by portraying the Amazon as a blank slate, a land without civilization, ripe for conquest. If the Amazon was already full of complex societies, then colonization wouldn't be discovery. It would be invasion. Next, Llanos de Mojos, Bolivia. In the 1960s, archaeologist William Denevan noticed strange mounds rising out of the flooded savanna. When satellite imagery became available, the picture exploded. Thousands of artificial forest islands stretching across an area the size of England. Later, LiDAR scans and excavations by scientists like Clark Erickson showed canals, raised fields, and causeways, proof of a complex hydraulic civilization that engineered its entire environment. It wasn't just adaptation, it was domination. These societies turned wetlands into farmland and flood seasons into harvests. Still, these sites were ignored. Why? Because colonial accounts, like those of Friar Gaspar de Carvajal and explorer Francisco de Orellana, had been debunked by modern historians as exaggerations. But Orellana's 1542 journey down the Amazon described massive cities, fortified towns, and elaborate riverside societies. He even mentioned rafts larger than Spanish galleons. Scholars dismissed it all. In 2022, LiDAR changed everything. In Ecuador's Upano Valley, researchers led by Stefan Rostayn revealed a network of Amazonian cities built by the Kasarabe culture. Dated to 500 to 1400 CE, these cities had massive ceremonial platforms, multi-tiered pyramids, causeways stretching for kilometers, and reservoirs designed to manage water across seasons. The largest settlement, Kotoka, sprawled over 140 hectares, larger than many medieval European cities. This was urban planning at scale, hidden under jungle canopy for 600 years. How could this be missed for so long? Too impossible, they said. Yet now, almost everything he described is turning up on satellite scans. Stone structures, canal systems, grid-like towns. In 2022, LiDAR changed everything. In Ecuador's Upano Valley, researchers led by Stefan Rostayn revealed a network of Amazonian cities built by the Kasarabe culture. Dated to 500 to 1400 CE, these cities had massive ceremonial platforms, multi-tiered pyramids, causeways stretching for kilometers, and reservoirs designed to manage water across seasons. The largest settlement, Kotoka, sprawled over 140 hectares, larger than many medieval European cities. This was urban planning at scale, hidden under jungle canopy for 600 years. How could this be missed for so long? Some say it wasn't. There's increasing evidence that post-contact Amazon depopulation was not only catastrophic, it was covered up. Disease wiped out up to 90% of the population after first contact. Within decades, entire cities were left empty. Nature reclaimed them. And by the time European missionaries returned in the 1600s and 1700s, they found only scattered tribes and assumed that's all there had ever been. But some historians suggest this was intentional misdirection. The idea of a savage, undeveloped Amazon justified brutal colonization and exploitation of land and people. Accepting that the region once hosted advanced, sustainable civilizations would undermine centuries of imperial propaganda. Then there's the soil. Terra preta, or dark earth, has now been found in patches across millions of hectares of the Amazon basin. It's human-made, created by mixing charcoal, fish bones, food scraps, and human waste. It retains nutrients, regenerates itself, and remains fertile for centuries. Modern soil scientists still don't fully understand it, and commercial agriculture hasn't been able to replicate it at scale. Which leads to a haunting theory. Were Amazonian civilizations practicing sustainable agriculture at a level we can't match today? If so, what else did they know that we've forgotten? And here's the most chilling part. Governments may still be suppressing these discoveries. Multiple reports from independent researchers suggest resistance to LiDAR studies in parts of the Brazilian Amazon, especially near logging, mining, or agribusiness interests. If vast ancient cities are declared heritage sites, they become protected, which means modern profit dies. So instead of exploration, we see silence, censorship, archaeological red tape. It's not hard to imagine why powerful industries wouldn't want the Amazon rebranded as the cradle of a long-lost civilization. So now, we're left with two conflicting realities. On one hand, we have cold, hard data, LiDAR scans, carbon-dated sites, engineered soil, and oral histories. On the other, we have centuries of academic denial, corporate interests, and colonial ideology telling us there was nothing here, nothing to see. But the jungle is giving up its secrets, slowly, reluctantly, and each new discovery chips away at the myth. The truth? The Amazon wasn't a wilderness. It was a garden, cultivated, engineered, and ruled by people who understood sustainability, astronomy, agriculture, and city planning. People who built without steel or wheels, but whose legacy may outlast ours. And the scariest possibility, that their knowledge was lost, not because of natural disaster, but because we refused to believe they were capable of having it in the first place.